Hey guys, it's Saturday, which is later than I typically start a vlog, but we had some family visiting during the week, and so that pushed back the start. But that's perfect because I wasn't doing much of anything interesting anyway. I was mainly setting up all those listings for B grade and overstock apparel, which took a lot longer than I expected, but it seems like it was selling really well. Let me actually check how many orders I've gotten since then. Oh my gosh, 60 orders since yesterday. Thank you so much because we're getting through so much of the stuff I had lying around. I showcased all of it in the last vlog, and I didn't realize how much space that was all taking up. So I'll be able to get a lot of those out of here. I don't know how many orders have holds on them. I was checking early on Friday when I had about 15 orders and none of them had holds. But obviously a lot have come in since then because yeah, I reintroduced the hold feature where you can add something to your cart to hold your order, and then there's a release order thing. So I'm doing it differently than how I did it last time with the holds. So logistically, it should be a little better this time. And then I don't have to worry about releasing smaller drops more frequently because you can just add holds to orders, and then when you want them all to ship, you can release them to ship them all together. Now, I don't plan to pack any of those today. They can't go out till Monday anyway, and so that's tomorrow's task. I was thinking for today, just have a little creative doodling session. I don't really have plans on what I'm gonna draw, but I just want to put marker to paper. Although first, I'm gonna refill some markers because I have some dried up ones that have been sitting in a drawer and I need to just fill them up so I can actually use them. And in the last vlog, I showed that I found my B00 refill. I thought I didn't have it, but apparently I do because that color's been haunting me. And yeah, I apparently bought it at some point, probably when I placed that online Blick order. So I can refill that one too. So back in the day, I would refill my markers just by dripping ink on the chisel end, but I'm too impatient for that these days. I like to pull the chisel nib out and refill it. It can get messy though because it's easy to overfill. I just want to see if these tweezers work. This is for my custom stamp where I can put every single letter in. Kind of works. There are Copic tweezers that have little teeth that bend in at the end. Probably what I need. This one's honestly so dry, I could probably grab it with my bare fingers. I often just go like this, but usually it goes through the paper towel onto my fingers. There is some color in there. This one's V12. These newer style ones have a long skinny applicator. Let me show you the old ones. The old ones were sadly bigger. They hold more ink. So, you know, shrinkflation got the Copic refills, although this I feel like was almost too big because how often do you deplete one of these? So rare. I feel like you don't need them this big. It just sucks that, you know, these are smaller yet aren't really cheaper. I don't remember the pricing, but anyway. These old ones had an applicator like this. It's just not as narrow and long as the new one. And what's nice about it being narrower is airflow, okay? As you're squeezing in the ink, it's so easy for the ink to come back up and out the end, especially if you're trying to squeeze it in too fast. But with this skinnier one, we actually have like airflow here, okay? It's not plugging the marker tip, it's allowing the air to come out, okay? Anyway, now one thing I hate about the new ones is they're harder to squeeze. Because they're so narrow, they're not very squishy at all. Finger workout. I'm watching this nib to see if it gets real juicy, because that's when you know it's full. We're down to that level so far. And full, they're at that 12 milliliter line at the top there, so I've used that much. So I've put in a little over 2 milliliters. Oh, I mean, the nib is looking juicy. I need my swatch paper! It's in here. I cut a bunch of pages out of my art journal one just because it gets bulky, right? So I use those pages I cut out as my little behind paper so marker doesn't bleed through in my sketchbook, but also it's great for swatching. You coming in? She's in my lap all the time now that I'm wearing this blanket, so it's a little chilly. She loves this blankie so much. And she loves getting pets. I'm gonna call that good, but the chisel nib is so dry, I'm gonna give it a little bit. Drink up, my pretty. Heck yay, 1 down, 3 to go. You little brat. I just noticed this one has a huge sticker on it instead of the usual text like that. Anyway, they're all filled up now. Okay, I doom scrolled a little bit so I could give Kiki cuddles and pets, but I think it's time you go because I'm going to need to scoot in closer to the table and I'm going to need use of both my arms. Little mesher. Look at her. Kiki, I can delay no longer. I'm a monster. Okay, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but I kind of want to use browns and pinks, specifically the E70s. And I'm going to draw a woman. I don't do characters that often anymore, so I get really nervous about it. Okay. I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay. I'm gonna have to move that nose. Is that the kind of expression I want though? Maybe that's a little too sad. Maybe she should be smiling. Just a subtle smile. Let's thin this out a little bit. I'm trying to do a slightly less pronounced philtrum, like a little flatter across the top. I don't know. Angular or round eyes? Ah. Ah. I'm trying to make it a little dull. Like, I never do the, like, opposite direction inner corner eyelash. So it feels weird to me. Kiki's trying to get back into my lap. Baby! Now I kind of want to give her bunny ears, but I drew her head too high. Maybe bear ears? We're switching to speed paint because we can't hang around here all night with these real-time clips. And I didn't really have much else to say. It was just me being very unsure of myself. Now, this is not going to be the full doodle in this segment. We're breaking it up. So right now you're seeing the sketching and the outlining. And if you want to see the coloring, stay tuned till later in the video. I just feel like it breaks it up nicer instead of like a 10-minute art chunk right in the middle. I don't think it's 10 minutes total. I think it's like 8 minutes or something. But we're doing like 4 minutes here, 4 minutes there. Oh my God. I don't know why my throat just dried up there. Hold on. Now, I'm sketching in graphite because I felt like it. I typically don't do that these days if I plan on coloring it after because I don't outline in ink anymore. I used to exclusively outline in ink and then you just erase the graphite and you're good to go. But lately I do my outlines in pencil crayon and so I don't want to smudge that all up by erasing over that. Plus it'll trap some of the graphite underneath. So if it's like a pink outline, you'll see the graphite underneath. But I wanted to do partial ink outlines for this one. It's still mostly pencil though in the end, but I was like, okay, it's a brown and pink drawing and I have brown and pink Copic multiliners. It just was the perfect match. And for things I want extra crisp, like her eyes, it actually worked out quite nicely. So that's what I did. So before the inking though, and the outlining, I just used the kneaded eraser to really lighten those pencil lines so that they don't show through as much. Although I forgot to erase harder in other areas, like the middle of her face, there are some guidelines visible, especially some going straight down the middle of her face. I could have completely erased that because they were light lines to begin with, but I forgot to go in and like properly erase certain areas. And I didn't realize that till after I colored it. So that graphite's trapped under there. And whatever, it's just like a casual sketchbook drawing. It's not like it has to be top tier everywhere. But yeah, you can see I did some ink outlines for the eyes, a little bit on the lips as well, and then switching to pencil for some small detail things like her earrings, which I decided to draw in last minute. I was like, oh wait, she needs earrings. I was like, okay, that's really tiny detail. Let's use the multiliners for those. And I have these pink and brown multi-liners in multiple sizes. And I have brown and sepia. The sepia is just a little warmer toned than the brown. So we got options. But yeah, most of the outlines were pencil, as you're seeing. The bows are so cute. I love the way I drew the bows. Just the way the tails of the bows are skinny, then get wider, and just the angle I cut it at. My go-to way of drawing the tails of bows in the past was to have the little triangular cut in it, so it's like a two-pointed end, but kind of like this more. And you know me, I always draw like ruffles and frillies things, so just adding some of that to this. I didn't really plan out an outfit. I was just winging this whole thing as I was going. Like, there was the bear at her neck, and then I was like, wait, the bear should be on the bow. So I was just moving things around, changing things on the fly. So, yes. She's got a little pattern thing on the chest. Oh, I just remembered I did erase some stuff before I colored, but I guess I didn't do a good enough job. Also, some of it was not fully erasing just because I pressed too hard. Some more ink outlines there on the bear face. And yeah, stay tuned till later in the vlog to see the fully colored version. Here are the lines. Whee! So cute. Someone did weasel her way back into my lap. Got some eraser dust on you. Alright, now that I'm done my little drawing, I think it's time to tackle these nails because they're very grown out and it's really hard for me to type, especially on my phone. And it's been lifting. I filed down this edge because it was catching on stuff. Usually I don't have a problem with this edge lifting, but it was this time. So I'm gonna go sit at the island and do that while I listen to Sunrise on the Reaping, which I am already enjoying a lot more compared to the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So let's go with gold. That'll be a nice holiday color because whatever I put on now is going to be on my nails for a month. So the nice thing about the glitter polishes in a clear base is that your edges don't have to be perfect. Like I can't tell if it's a little squiggly, especially along the cuticle as well. So it makes it easier in that sense. But then I obsess over how much glitter is in it. Like this thumb has a lot of glitter. I'll compare fingers, but then also compare between hands. And I'm like, this one looks glitterier than this one. And there are the nails. Whee! It's now Sunday morning. I'm feeling targeted by this form I'm filling out. I'm 35, so I'm just in this tier. I can't believe this. Let's take a look at today's outfit. I'm pink from head to toe. And I've got on my new doggy shirt since I found that spare blank lying around. Woo! Sadly, the sweatshirt's covering it. But I do get really warm while packing orders, so I mean, if I'm filming order packing, I don't know if you're really gonna see my back anyway, unless I'm filming from the live stream camera. But yeah, it's 12 o'clock right now. I just had lunch. I spent my morning doing boring admin stuff. And now I'm gonna get to packing up some of those orders. We got up to 77 orders. 77. That's definitely more than I was expecting for this little mini drop. And 3 of them were digital only, digital downloads. So I have to pack 74. And even though all the B grade and overstock stuff is already made and ready to ship out, people still ordered some new stuff to go along with it. So Christian's embroidering today. He decided that himself to work on a Sunday because it kind of makes more sense for him to go Sunday through Thursday because we have Monday mail pickups. So I want to get through as many of those orders today as I can. But let me just show you again the stock of overgrade and B grade stuff, just so you can visualize how much product we're moving. Because man, apparel takes up a lot of space. So we have these ones down here. I forgot to take a picture of this one originally, so I took a picture of it the next day, but then I forgot to add the picture to the listing. So I think it was just without photo. But yeah, these are the overstock ones. And we have a bunch of B grades down here in the bin and in the shelves here. And then there's more over here. This mostly has the witch hat sweatshirts. There are a few kitty t-shirts. That's not overstock stuff. That's just normal. But most of what's in these bins right now is the witch hat, black. doo. Then right next to it, we have some leftover stuff from the stationery collection drop. Not that. That was a restock, not an overstock. And then up here is where Christian's putting the stuff that's freshly embroidered. Woo! For B grades, there's only one left in stock. It's the Witch Hat Green on the faded black. It's a very minor B grade. It's just the center of the flowers is the wrong color. Now for overstock apparel, we have 40 left, which is actually surprisingly high, considering I had 74 orders with stuff that's shipping out. There were 31 variants for B grades, 30 variants for this. Although for the overstock, there were like, some of the items had quantity 7, quantity 3, whatever. So there were more than 30 items listed. Yeah, it's that witch hat stuff. And then probably some of the stationaries. Not a single one of these sold. Ah! And then the stationery stuff. Well, the blue one sold. I don't remember the original inventory numbers for all of these. Let's consult the paper. Okay, so 2 of these ones sold. And that was it for stationery. Just those 2 plus that blue one. Now for Witch Hat, I didn't sell any smalls. I sold 2 medium, 2 large. Extra large was at 6, so I sold 2 of those. 2XL was at 3, so I sold 2 of those. And then no 3XLs. Okay, that's not too bad. Considering that's just been sitting there on the website. Sold 2, 2, 2, 2. But everything that was not part of that overstock sold. Aside from this thing, this one's different because it's on a Comfort Colors sweatshirt. Although you can still get ivory in a different brand. So it's technically a one-of-a-kind item, but it looks similar to my other ivory ones, which is probably why it hasn't sold. But the 3 Luna Pink on those same Comfort Colors blanks did sell. I would have made all 4 Luna Pink, but that one was already stitched out, so it had to be stationary. So I was hoping more stationery and witch had sold, but overall still a very successful drop of items, and we're gonna clear up so much space because of this. And I just had so many blanks sitting around with nothing on them. It was nice to finally get something stitched on so we could get them out of here. And I don't want a repeat of all this leftover stock again, which is why I'm trying to figure out how to juggle future apparel launches. Because at least some of it has to be pre-made. Otherwise, we're not going to have time to make it all in a reasonable amount of time. And if it's a big shop update, I need Christian's help packing orders. So one thing I was thinking is like, maybe I drop a new design on one color and we pre-make those. And then there's also the option to get it made to order on all of our existing color blanks. But is that going to make it even harder to sell the original color? I don't know. Another way would be, okay, drop it on one color and then down the road make it available made to order. And then the problem with pre-order apparel is that there's usually limited stock from my suppliers. And so I can't really take pre-orders and guarantee that I'll be able to get those items unless it's something that is highly stocked. But the sweatshirts I use pretty much never are. And so that's why I don't do pre-orders for that. Now on ShipStation, I'm gonna have to create a new filter. I have one here that says no pre-orders, and so it filters out all the pre-order orders so I can pack just the ones that have to go out right away. So I'm gonna do a similar thing for holds. I'll have one view that shows me which orders do not have any holds, and then one that shows me just the ones that have holds, maybe. I don't know if I'll need that. At the very least, I need the list that filters out the holds. You can set all kinds of conditions for this. I'm gonna say item SKU equals, actually I guess I'm gonna say does not equal, hold. Oh, the SKU is hold dash order. So it's show me orders where the item SKU does not equal hold dash order. I was wondering why the filtering was not working. No recent sales of this product. So there are currently no holds. And by the way, the holds thing, I have it at the bottom of the home page because I've got all the different collections listed, and then the hold and release are down there at the bottom. And the other place you can find it is if you go under more at the top, there's order modifiers, and they're there. Because I don't know if I'll always have them on the home page, but as of right now, it just works because I don't have my huge list of products there anymore. It's just the collections. And I specifically wanted it to show collections instead of products going forward. One, for kind of easier navigation, but also so I could promote the deals. Like I could have the little buy 5, get the 6th one free written there. I pulled these a little closer. It made me realize I need to fold some boxes because I have one 3-inch depth, one 4-inch depth, and that's what I'm primarily going to need for all of these. They're up here, 9-inch, 6, 4, 3. Maybe I'll do a few 6s as well. Because if someone gets 2 sweatshirts, it pretty much always needs 6 or bigger. We'll start here though. Okay, I have not folded a single box yet. We had a little crisis. Christian was looking for the 2XL faded black hoodies and couldn't find them. So I was kind of looking through, being like, oh, did you check here? Did you check here? Like, I don't know. He knows the stock better than I do. So I figured I wouldn't be much help. But we finally figured out what the issue was, because we had a bunch of crew necks in a recent order, but we still had quite a few crew necks out in the bins. And so we were like looking through our order history and stuff and like the stock levels on the website. And it shows we only have 1 crew neck left in stock, yet we actually have 7. And then it was showing we had a bunch of hoodies in stock when we don't. So I think the last batch we ordered, they got added as hoodie inventory instead of crew neck. So now we've oversold. We don't have a single 2XL faded black hoodie, but we've sold 2. That's a big problem. That's like my nightmare scenario. But luckily, this is something I can order from S&S, because usually I order the independent blanks from Private Agent D&D, but it takes at least a full week for them to get here. But thankfully this color, it's actually called pigment black, we can get that from S&S, and we can get the 2-day shipping, so it'll be here Tuesday. So crisis averted, because I figure there's bound to be inventory mistakes like that. And it doesn't help that our materials manager app that manages it lists everything alphabetically, and so the sizes are out of order. So I'm gonna have Christian rename everything so that there's like an O1 in front of an extra small and an O2 in front of a small, like so that they all display in order, which should prevent that kind of stuff from happening, because it looks a little jumbled when we go to manage the inventory. So it's understandable that a mistake like that was made. So yeah, a little hiccup there, but we solved it. Now I can fold my boxes. But yeah, we have so many different styles that we offer, and so we're bound to make mix-ups like this. There's just so many different variants between different colors, sizes, styles, as in like hoodie versus crew neck, that are available in the exact same color. But then for t-shirts, there's multiple light blue ones, because there's like a pocket tee, there's the baby tee, the boxy tee. There's so many different things. It's actually a little wild that we offer so many different options, considering we just run this out of our house, because apparel is a big beast. Like, I understand why a lot of people don't do that in-house, especially if they just work from home, because it takes up so much space and it costs so much money for the blanks, of course. But it's so worth it for us. Like, without Christian, I would not be able to do it. But because I have him, it's so worth it. It is a lot to manage. And I've just slowly given him more and more of the responsibilities. Like, I've been the one ordering the restocks, but I'm going to get him to do it. I just need to build up a spreadsheet that shows which blanks are which and where to buy them from, and like the actual name for that style so that he buys the correct one, that kind of stuff. I just gotta get that set up, and then that will fully be delegated to him. All right, here's what I've folded so far. It's likely not enough, but I can do a second batch of box folding later. So that's all one size. Then the 2 middle ones are one size, and then that one. I didn't fold any 9-inch boxes, but I do have one pre-folded under the stairs, so I can grab that one if needed. Otherwise, I'm just gonna fold it when I need it, because it's so big. Oh, I have a 6 under here as well. But yeah, you can see how big it is pre-folded, so I don't want to pre-fold too many of them, considering it's a size I rarely need. But I can add this one to the pile. So the first B grade or overstock item to sell is the one that's right on top here. It's the Halloween Cats t-shirt, the one that has holes in the back shoulder / sleeve. And I don't have barcodes for these. They do each have their own SKU, but I feel like it's not really necessary for this. This order is for Ashley, by the way, and there is an order note. It says, "Love you," black heart emoji. "Give Kiki and Midna pets," and then heart eyes cat emoji. Babies, where are you? Well, they'll for sure get some pets later. I folded this one kind of wide, and yes, it was me, because I had to take them all out to photograph them and then fold them back up and put them back in their sleeves. But yeah, I got the thank you card and freebie sticker there, and I'll just fold it in half like this and put it in the poly mailer. A perfect fit, and a sticker for some cutesiness. And it's defaulting to the correct postage because the customer selected that. I have it mapped. It says unmapped, I guess, but it did map correctly. I like it to default to rectangle large, even though that's not the box I'm currently using. I'll just do that to save the mapping. I'll change it back to poly extra small. I set all these presets for the package. But yeah, you can map what postage type is assigned with what the customer selected so that you don't have to select every time. It's again just a drop-down menu, but it just makes it easier for it to default to what the customer selected. And if they qualify for free shipping, it will also default to this packet, but sometimes I have to upgrade it to a different shipping type if the package is over 2 kilograms. But most of them fall under this, so that's why I have those presets, just to make things easier. Because when you're packing a ton of orders, you want things as streamlined as possible. Now for Gemma, we have the Gazebo Cats art print ×2, a mystery B-grade print bundle, and another B-grade t-shirt. It's one of the ones with the design too low. Ha! Thank you card for protection. I'm gonna put this in a square, although I'm getting low. Yeah, that's actually the last one. Ah! It could go in a rectangular box, but I've been doing a lot of the t-shirts in the square boxes. I just fold them over a little bit. A sprinkle of crinkle and a freebie sticker. The edges of this box kind of weird. Sierra's getting the Shady Shamrocks bookmark and Winter Bun Washi and the Fall Florals navy that has the big hole in the shoulder because the material got bunched up in the embroidery machine because the sleeves are so long it's going like in and out of the machine, and Christian always has to watch it and straighten out the fabric so it doesn't do that. But this was one of the early grabs, and so yeah, we have to cut it out of the embroidery hoop so there's a hole like this big in the shoulder. But you never know if someone might want that because they can patch the hole. It can't be stitched shut because it's missing a whole chunk of fabric, but probably patched. Or people might like repurpose the embroidery portions, like you never know. So this is defaulting to the correct box size, correct postage. Just quick look at customs. Usually I don't look down here, but I just am. It's good, so print label. My roll of labels ran out, so I need to wind a new one. Because when I ordered these, I ordered 10,000 stickers, and they shipped on 3 gigantic rolls. This is not even a full roll. This is. So yeah, next time I order, I'm definitely going to ask them to put them in smaller rolls. Maybe in rolls of 1,000. So this core is from the packing tape I used, the paper packing tape. Take down the first one and wind it up. Okay, that's enough. That's enough to last me quite a while because I mostly just use them on poly mailers and the occasional white mailer that I fold, like the boxes, the literature mailers. Oh my gosh, Rosalinda, 25 Winter Bun Washi, 25 Sassy Santa Washi, plus 6 of the 4-piece bag bundles. So 24 Sassy Santa bags. And one of the Overstock Witch Hat crew necks. My hero! It's a Christmas miracle! Look at all this. Oh my gosh. It's all the stuff I'm the most overstocked on. Thanks, Rosalinda. Tonight we're doing a fend for yourself kind of supper, and I made myself a big lunch, so I'm gonna be lazy with supper. We do have pumpkin loaf in the fridge, so I might start with a couple slices of that. But I also want to make some cookies because I have a cookie mix for Reese's Pieces cookies. So I'm going to make those right away as well. That just makes me wonder though if I want the pumpkin loaf or not, because is that too much sweetness? The loaf is sweet and the cookies are sweet. That'll prevent me from eating too many cookies actually. Yes, yes. Oh, hi Mushy. Hey. The loaf. It's like banana bread, but pumpkin. I warmed it up a bit, added some butter. Butter, powder, egg. Why is this so sticky? I might need to add some flour. Christian, I need help. No, you're not pouring directly from there. Grab like a little bit at a time. I'm not a one. Okay, more. Maybe I should try making the balls without the gloves on. Why are these lights flickering? It doesn't flicker if the fan is on. But I hate the fan. I'm not using the stovetop. I don't need the fan. My frosting's a bit of a fail because I did not have enough icing sugar. I would have reduced the amounts of the other ingredients if I had noticed, but I grabbed the sugar last. Whoopsie. Well, it tastes good. It's just a bit wet and clumpy. This doesn't look like that picture at all. I mean, this one almost does. This one. We got some visible Reese's Pieces. Is my cooling rack high enough? You little tiki too. Look at those pathetic little paws. Yeah, look at those. These smell a lot like peanut butter cookies, so I'm hoping the base mix was not like half peanut butter. I just want the peanut butter flavor coming from the Reese's Pieces themselves. Otherwise, this will just taste like peanut butter cookies. Oh yeah. I cooked them for the minimum amount of time on the packaging. Probably could have gone even less. All right, taste test. I have no idea if I have any Reese's Pieces in that bite because they probably melt. It does taste like a peanut butter cookie, but less peanut buttery. I don't know if I really taste any chocolate though. Maybe this bite. Not really. They're still good though, and I can make them even more interesting by putting the icing on top. Not all of them, just some of them. They're still a bit warm, then I'm gonna let them cool more. Well, I'm gonna go back downstairs and pack some orders. See you later. Okay, it's now past 10 p.m. I'm done packing for the day, and I'm actually as caught up as I can be. There are 2 orders with those 2XL sweatshirts we don't have, and then 2 orders that Christian hasn't embroidered yet that he'll do tomorrow. So look, we have this. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much. I never get to see them piled up like this because usually Christian brings them up as I bag them. But this time we left them all down here. Look at that. And that bin's empty. This bin's empty. That bin's empty. This one. And now it's empty. Oh yeah, there are also 3 sitting up here because it's not enough to fill a bag, but I can fill it up tomorrow once I have more orders to add to it. ShipStation shows I packed 73 orders, and then there was 1 letter mail order as well, which wouldn't show up on that list, so 74 is how many I packed today. That is really good for a solo packing day, although I have gone right up until bedtime. It's 10:18 to be precise. And I finished the audiobook for Sunrise on the Reaping. And now for part 2 of the art segment, the coloring, which we're doing in Copic marker, of course, as I always do. I simply must. And for this one, I did not add much pencil. I kept it mostly Copic, just the teensiest bits of shading here and there, but mainly the pencils stayed to the outlines, and I wasn't sure what color everything was going to be. I knew overall I wanted brown and pink, but I didn't fully think it out, and it resulted in me having to go back and change some things. But you know what? It worked out. It worked out. I also kind of regretted outlining her chest area in ink because I felt like it stood out too much. Mainly how I outlined the flowers in pink, but I kind of covered up with some gel pen. You'll see, you'll see. So yeah, just starting with the face. I find it's easy to start with the cheeks and then kind of blend them out. Although because her skin is so pale, it was blending out the cheeks too much and it looked splotchy, so I had to go back in and add more cheek color. But it worked out in the end. I used my R's for her skin, like R00, R001. No, wait, what? Do I even know my Copic colors anymore? 000, quad 001, that kind of thing. And then the darkest areas are the E04. That's the color I need to make more of. I need to buy more of that marker and like the refill and just mix my own, because E04 is nothing like the colors that come before and after it. It's very much a pinkish brown, and I just need multiple shades of that pinkish brown. I gotta make some custom Copic. Anyway, yes, her outfit, I knew I wanted to be pink. It was looking a little silly though, like the pink bow on the pink chest area, but I was like, whatever, I'm gonna go with that. But because like the chest area, for example, is pink, I was like, wait, those flowers on the chest can't be pink, so I'm trying to work it out. But like the leaves are brown already, so I guess the flowers have to be white, but then they got this noticeable pink outline, but I just used some gel pen to fix it. And now for the hair, I wanted to try a thing I see some people do where the underside of the hair behind the neck is actually lighter than the rest of the hair, because I'm so used to coloring it darker than the rest of the hair, which makes sense because in real life it would look darker, but it's this effect like it's almost being lit underneath or maybe from behind slightly. I don't know, but there's just that brightness underneath and sometimes also a bright color. So I was like, ooh, even though her hair's brown, let's have some pink behind the neck area. That could be kind of neat. And it ended up working out because I was like, oh, yes, right. That's why I wanted to do it at first too, is because the bear earrings. I was like, the bears are brown and they're going to be on her brown hair. So also if we have that pink behind it, we can see the brown of the earrings. But here's the thing though, I didn't end up going with brown bears. That's where the brown was supposed to come from, her hair and the bears. But then when I colored the hair, I was like, wait a minute, look at the ears. They look really cute as they are with the white. So what if we do all the bears as white instead, but also that lets the chest bow be brown instead? And that's what I did. I ended up switching it up. In this brown, I'm using the E70s. It's very much a grayish brown. I always consider it a slightly purplish brown, but it doesn't look like that at all in this illustration. The whole time I was working, I was like, am I using the actual markers I thought I was, or am I using the warm grays? It just feels like warm gray, but they're browns, I swear. And they're one of my go-to browns because they're just so neutral. I love it. And then just, yeah, some subtle shading on the white areas with my warm grays. In that instance, I was using warm grays. But yeah, the bow just pops so much better. Because otherwise there wouldn't be any brown on the bottom other than the bear itself. Just this tiny little bit. So this helped add more. And yeah, I was like, okay, these flowers can be white. So let's soften the outlines of them with some white gel pen to fix it up. I also used white gel pen on a couple spots where I didn't fully erase the graphite pencil underneath, like along her jaw and then one spot by her lip, just because I felt like it was showing through a little too much and looked a little dirty. But yeah, this is just a fun little illustration, a little on the simple side in terms of the coloring, but the end result's just so cute. I love it. Her eyes are a bit small, in my opinion, even though, you know, that's not wrong. Eyes are small in real life, but I usually draw big cartoony eyes, so I kind of wish I drew those a bit bigger, but that's the only thing that stands out to me, like that bothers me when I look at it. So yeah, just a fun little sketchbook drawing. Oh yeah, here's where I go in and actually use some pencil, some white and pink on her hair just to add little highlight areas or little extra pops of pink, and then reinforcing the outlines, just darkening certain areas as needed. And I used some white pencil on the bear earrings just to soften those brown ink outlines because I thought it was standing out too much since I changed the color of the bear last minute. So yes, fun little drawing, so cute. Very coquette. And that concludes this little art segment. Hope you enjoyed it. Cute bear girl. Yeah, just winging it resulted in something super cute, actually. So there you go. All right, it's a new day, and I was stuck doing admin stuff again this morning. Things just keep coming up. There's so much back and forth with Shopify because apparently my Shopify payments account is a personal account under my personal name and personal address because I was not incorporated when I first started using Shopify, but I've been incorporated since 2019. But I didn't realize the Shopify payments info doesn't update when you update your Shopify info. And this was brought to my attention and became a problem because someone reached out to me who ordered from my store, and their credit card statement showed the business address, but it showed my home address. And so I was like, okay, that's a problem. So I've been working with Shopify to like get everything switched over. But now all the documents I submitted to confirm my identity are no longer valid because I need to prove stuff about the business now, and they keep rejecting all my documents, and I have these warnings. It's like a countdown till when my account is going to be frozen. I won't be able to accept any new payments, and I won't be able to receive any payouts if this deadline hits, and we're sitting at like 11 or 12 days away. I've submitted new stuff yet again. Hopefully it's accepted. I mean, technically it's just like the same information, but I think the last rejection was because my name was just first and last name instead of including my middle name to prove who the board of directors are for my company, and I'm just it's been a whole thing. If it gets rejected again, I'm gonna have to reach out to them. And I was handling some other stuff, but that's over now. We're moving on, because what I want to work on today is a little crafty project. I want to make some notepads by hand, like physically assemble them. I've done it once before, and I'm doing the same project as last time, which is card game score sheets. So I designed a score sheet in the past. It was specifically for a game we call Lamsey, which is a type of rummy. I haven't seen it called Lamsey anywhere else, and when I Google it, it's just a picture of Christian from a vlog where we played Lamsey. So I'm starting to think no one else calls it Lamsey. Anyway, I made a score sheet for it. I gave some to my mom. I gave a bunch to Christian's parents because we always play cards with them. But they've gone through all their sheets, and I need to make more. And I haven't been able to for a long time because the only printer I've had for a while is my brother laser printer. And it is a color printer, but for some reason it just can't print photos. Like, it just can't. They just look like absolute garbage. I don't know what the deal is. But a couple months ago, or 3 months, however long ago, I got that Epson Eco Tank. So now I can print colorful things once again, and I can make new notepads. Although I've modified it slightly already. I was debating at first, like having the Lamsey scorecard, then a scorecard for golf, and then a generic one that could be used for like swipe, schmear, because those last two, they don't have a determinate number of rounds. It's until you hit a certain score. But you know what? I'm just going to make one generic that can be used for everything. And it's going to be the same score sheet, so it's still 13 rounds technically, but you could move on to a second score sheet if it runs longer than 13, or like golf tends to run 9 rounds. Well, it's always 9 rounds for us, but I mean, you can choose to do 18 holes, I suppose, if you want to. But we always do 9, so I was going to make a score sheet with 9. Then I was like, you know what? No. Just a generic one. Just take the Lamsey score sheet, remove the word Lamsey, and then remove the ace through king on the side, and then it could just be a generic score sheet. The only downside is ideally the golf score sheet would have a third column on the left-hand side because you would have the rounds numbered, like holes 1 through 9, and then you would have the par for the course because we like to play it with the par. You could play without, but it's like a score minimum you have to reach before you can end the round. And then the third column would be who was the dealer for that round. But that's the only game that would require the third column, so I'm just gonna, you know, we don't need that. You can just cram it into a single column or something. So yeah, minimal modifications to the file, and I'm going to try to print it out. This is a borderless file though. I don't know if this little EcoTank can even print borderless. If not, that's okay. We'll just have it, the design shrunken down a bit, and the pads will be slightly smaller than last time. And I told myself I would regularly print things on this printer so that the print heads would not clog up. I have not printed anything in over a month. So hopefully it's okay, and if not, hopefully a nozzle cleaning helps. If not, I'm in trouble. Also, what I'm going to do is make this score sheet available for free on my website. The thing is though, I don't own the card art, the bicycle card art that's in the background, so I'm going to have to just make it generic. Well, I was thinking flat color, but I don't know how many people want color printed. But what would generic mean? Just like pale gray? Or would I maybe just leave it white because then you're using less printer ink? I could create some kind of pattern with suits, but at least not today. I'm not doing that. But at least have a blank version available up on the website for free if you want to download that. So I guess step one, grab some printer paper, see if we can get it to print nicely. Okay, I forgot step one, plug in the printer. It's plugged into power, but not into the computer. The wireless setup was finicky, so I've used my Cricut cable. It's nice and long, it can reach to my computer. But I only have so many USB ports, so I have to unplug it and just plug it in when I need it. Like this one right here is this printer. You know what? This reaches from the front. I'm just gonna do this instead of trying to feed it from the back. I do have a USB hub, and maybe I need that for the front. The back is completely taken up, including the spots on my Cintiq. Because I'm a streamer, or I stream. I got a lot of stuff plugged in here. Okay, I don't think I can print borderless, so I'm gonna scale to fit media so the edges don't get cut off. And I'm gonna try to print from Photoshop. If it doesn't work out, then I'll do it differently. It looks like ass. In the gray areas, I can see every single dot. It's also just pale overall. The way I often print is just right-clicking and then click print. And then I can select some options here as well. Let's try this first. Set it to high. Premium presentation. I'll say plain paper. Sometimes I lie and select a different paper just to get it to look the way I want. It looks the same. Also, I printed the old version, which I am now doing again. Oopsie, that's okay. We're just testing how it looks. The border is low opacity by design, so the border is going to look faded, but it was looking too faded, and the gray boxes were a little too pale. I guess the question is now, are these gray boxes too dark? I could lighten them in the Photoshop file if needed. The quality is great. Am I lightening those boxes though? Because the idea is you write your score in the gray boxes for that round. So round one is like whatever. You could just write your score here. And then for round two, let's say you got 5 points. You would write that there and then write 15. Obviously that's easy math. But the math's not always easy, especially when you're getting into triple digit numbers. But that's the point of the gray boxes, is it's your score and then the tally. So there's room to do the addition. And people's names go up here. And the dealer goes here. You could just do like first initial or first couple letters. For some games, it's not really dealer, it's who goes first, such as swipe, because there is no dealer. But I do like this. I'll just lighten the boxes a smidge and print out the proper one that doesn't say Lamsey. I can't remember if I selected standard or high quality last time. I feel like I probably clicked high. This just feels so slow. This is gonna take forever, because I'm gonna do like 50 sheets per pad, and I want multiple pads. Maybe I did select a different print setting, because now these are way too pale. This is what the box is at 60% opacity, and this is at 40%. It was just a slight change. Dang, that printer's loud. Okay. So maybe I'll switch it back. That does show through a lot on the back, though. This is some pretty cheap paper, so maybe we don't need to print double-sided. You could still use the back, because otherwise areas where there are extra lines, it's going to show through. Like you'll see an extra line down here, and then the top will show through. But just like this, the back is very much usable. I'm trying to talk over here. This looks perfect though. The gray is back to its original 60% opacity, and I printed it high quality on presentation paper matte. Not premium presentation paper, just presentation paper matte. So I'm gonna start on the bulk print. It's gonna take a while. Oof. This printer causes a stink whenever I try to do presentation paper though. I have to hit OK and then up, because it detects a paper mismatch. Shh, just print, just do what I say. Now I'm wishing I did these test prints earlier, because I could have had them all printing while I was doing all the admin stuff. But we'll make it work. So what I'm gonna do now is trim this down to find out what the final size is gonna be, because I can't just cut the sheet in half and call it a day. that would be easy because my chipboard is the same size as this. I could just cut the chipboard in half and call it a day. But I'm gonna have to cut extra bits off the chipboard to match this size. I don't have a high capacity paper trimmer. I just have my regular guillotine, which is supposedly a 12-page limit. So, you know, all the pages won't be exactly the same size. It's definitely gonna have a handmade look to it. But to save myself some work, it'd be nice if I trimmed the center line perfectly down the middle instead of having to make 2 cuts in the middle. And then try to do the same with the other edges. It kind of helps if you have a light source underneath. This phone flashlight too much. Because now there's a shadow where the edge of this is. Oh, but that's also the last cut I should do. It's fewer cuts if I do the long edges first. Just overhang it slightly. I'd rather cut off a bit of the design than have a sliver of white showing. There's a sliver of white. Part of me was debating just designing a generic background that's not copyrighted and then officially ordering some from a manufacturer, although they probably cost a lot per pad. Because I figured I could order some extras and then sell them in the shop. But I'd probably want at least $250 just to make the pricing worthwhile. Ideally at least $500, but I don't think I could sell that many. Alright, I'm gonna cut a hair off this side where I left a white edge. It's hard to cut off just a sliver because the paper kind of bunches. It like slips, the blade slips off the paper towards the bottom. Good enough. Okay. So this sheet is... I don't like doing fractions of inches. This is why metric is superior. I mean, I could go by the centimeter line at the top. It's just over 13.5 centimeters. I mean, I probably could just make the backing cards 13.5 because each sheet's going to be slightly different size. Yeah, that one's exactly 13.5. That way I have a nice easy line to line it up with. And I will be cutting multiple sheets at once instead of just one like this to speed things up. But we're just waiting for them to print. So I did it this way just so I know what size to make the chipboard. And the chipboard's back here. I don't need to grab too much because one sheet will get me 2 pads. I'll just grab that. Ideally, I would make like 10 pads. Minimum. It's gonna take forever to print. I could still do it. I just don't think I could do it all today. Now, how much gets left over? Because ideally, I'd leave the big side up top instead of having to pick up the discard. Looks about 1/2 centimeter, a little more. Okay. Ideally, I like hold on to the piece and make the 2 cuts instead of having to pick up what's down here, but that's fine. Oh, and the length, let's see, about 21 centimeters. Yep, okay. Luckily, I don't have to cut a lot of chipboard. But yeah, borderless printing would have saved me a lot of cuts. Wait, what did I say? Oh, 21. I did 21.5. Okay, wait, what the hell? Wait. Oh, I did 14 instead of 13.5. Okay. Salvaged. I keep thinking it's one number bigger because I see the bigger number. Like when I have it aligned on a certain number, it's covered. So when I'm at 21, I can see the 22. Alright, I have 13 backing pieces because I messed up one of my initial cuts. I had it turned the wrong way. But I salvaged the remains into bookmark backers. Shush you! Because for my long bookmarks, they don't fit into these sleeves really. But I make little special sleeves. But it's got a little chipboard piece in there. So yeah, I use those for the picture pour bookmarks because they're longer than my other ones. The other ones are 6 inches, these are 8 inches. And during that time, the printer printed 3 sheets. It's working on the 4th. I need 25 for one notepad. Now let's look for some other materials. I need my binder clips. Can't remember if I still have some here. I I do. I forgot I had these gold ones. This was my convention bag. Ye old business cards. And I should have some in here. I might have to find my old vlog where I made the first batch and see exactly how I did this. But I don't have a proper clamp. Let's grab the bigger ones maybe. Plus these. Oh, these are probably the same size as those small black ones. Oh, you know what? I have some cute pastel ones I use for product photography. How big are those? I think they're kind of small. Oh, those are decent size actually. Okay, I have 6 sheets. I feel like that's a good number to cut, even though I can handle 12. Just because if you get a thick stack, sometimes it starts splaying towards the end of the cut and it's less accurate. So let's give this a whirl. I suppose also if it does splay, I could avoid cutting the long edge first, which would mean more cuts to do, but more accuracy at the same time. Okay. Okay, I don't think my flashlight trick's gonna work with this many layers, but you know, I've cut a lot of things with this. I kind of have an idea where it's gonna cut. So this did splay. The bottom sheets are not cut as close to the blade as the top sheets are. So maybe I will cut short edge first. Making sure these stay aligned is half the battle. Okay, this one, we need that exact cut. Let me just try the flashlight. No. Too many layers. But since I did cut off one white edge, I can see exactly where it meets the metal. So at least down here it's aligned. I don't know about the top. YOLO. Woo. That's pretty good. It's fun to do little handmade stuff like this because I could never hand make the notepads for my shop. Even if I got a big professional cutter to trim them, it's just like too much work. I don't need to make everything myself, but it's just fun giving myself those projects where I do get to hand make something because it's on a smaller scale. Now, one thing I did not check is my glue. I hope it's still kicking. Hopefully it's not all dried up. I'm fairly certain I used tacky glue. Again, I'm going to double check my video. Although I did have bookbinding glue at one point, but I don't think that's what I used for this. Also, where is that glue? Maybe it dried up and I got rid of it? Craft Bond all-purpose. It's probably just like the tacky glue. I wasn't sure which channel it was on, so I searched Bumble Bailey Notepad, because I figured Bailey J Notepad's going to get all kinds of results. But look, it worked, even though it's on the Bailey J channel. DIY notepads and other gift ideas. Now wait a darn minute. I didn't use the binder clips at all. Maybe I tried it and then it was just too lumpy. Oh, Sketchbook Slam! I don't have that anymore, but that would be the perfect flattening device. My Disney book's pretty big. I could always stack 2 books on top if needed. Just gotta be sure I don't get glue on them. We got a couple thick ones here. The base book doesn't have to be that thick, just enough to raise it. This is actually bigger than the Disney book. Oh yeah, that's hefty. That'll be a good squishing book. I'm just gonna pluck a couple of scrap papers out of the recycling and tuck it into the book so I don't accidentally get glue on it. And this Pixar book can be my base. I just had a thought. Delete this text, have it blank, and you can write in the name of the game. Yeah, I like that idea. So at least one notepad is gonna say score sheet in the corner because I printed 25 sheets, or like it's in the works, a batch of 25. So I'll just change that going forward. Just leave it blank and you can write in the title of the game. Maybe even make the box slightly wider. Okay, printing that out took forever. Oh, I'm gonna probably have to print these throughout the week. I might get like 2 notepads printed each day, and then at the end of the week I can cut them all, glue them all, something like that. Okay, my guard paper is annoying me. Maybe I don't need the guard paper. I didn't use one last time. It's sticking out too far. This is my sacrificial brush, just in case the glue messes it up. But I'm going to try to wash the glue right away after painting this edge, so hopefully we're all good. Nozzle might be clogged. Oh, when's the last time I even used this? This crusty glue. Maybe I'm not getting the lid off. I just need like a toothpick. And I do keep some down here with my painting supplies. That came out cleaner than I would have liked. I feel like it's still going to be clogged. I need to get out all the hard glue in the cap. That looks not too bad. Ha ha. Okay, maybe I didn't need to grab that big of a blob. I remember doing more than one layer on these. Maybe a couple layers. Hello, Kiki. I didn't get that far in the vlog to see how many layers I painted. But with this glue, the pages tear off perfectly, just like a normal notepad. Okay, I'm gonna leave it as that thin layer for this first layer. That way it'll dry quickly. No, I missed some sheets. Maybe I can cut them right now and then we'll just add it on top. Add some more glue. Why couldn't I have realized that before I washed the brush? I can't really do a top tap. Maybe on my scrap. Because it's just gonna stick. It kind of worked though. Woohoo! But yeah, I decided this is gonna be my pad anyway because it's the tester of sorts. Wait, this is really crooked actually. What the hell? This is the trial pad. Whoa there. Oopie goopie. Why is there a dent on my forehead? What is that? What could have even caused that? The first coat dried really fast, so on to the second. Okay, first notepad done. I only did 2 layers of glue. I feel like I did 3 on the original ones, but this should be fine. It seems like it's holding together enough. If I really feel like doing 3 on the others, I can, but yeah, it's holding. It's a little chunky. Look at this edge. I swear it looked better before I added my extra pages on top, but it's gonna be a little off because not each page is cut to the exact size, because typically with a notepad it'll be bound and then it's cut with a heavy duty cutter. But I just can't justify getting one of those because I almost never need something like that. This edge looks slightly nicer, although it is at an angle. But yeah, first one done. I had that going and it had like 6 sheets printed. Then I went upstairs to cook food. We cleaned up. I got ready for this evening stream, all that stuff. Came down, it was still printing. Although it just stopped, so I think it just finally finished that. I think it takes like an hour and a half to print enough pages for one notepad. So you didn't get to see me make them all, but you know, if you've seen one, you've seen them all. Just imagine this text is not here. But that is the end of this vlog, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And I have some of the stationery colorful desk mats down here. I don't have as many of those left. There's still a decent amount just because they're big. They take up a lot of space, but really, I don't have that many. And then these 2 bins here are my new spot for B-grade items. Woo! Or if I have just like one of an item left that was a leftover,